Okay, so we just come downstairs from the National Space upstairs, and we now enter the gallery area, or the club area. There's a poster on the front, Bernard, and just a little entrance. Okay, so we've got a sign-in desk here, a little bit of information about some of the exhibition. These first paintings, this one being the first, is God's love for mothers and their infants, the orphan factory, and this large piece, which is called In the Free State. This is actually all one piece. And if you bear with me, I would suggest this is a self-portrait of Bernard Canavan. The cot on the floor, it's an installation piece, and the painting on the wall is actually wall one piece. It's the most expensive piece in the show. Within the cot, this is Bernard's birth mother, a very pretty lady who went on to be a very successful model and actress in both France and America. There's another picture of her over here. Unfortunately, her baby lived in a space like this for the first 4 years of his life, and maybe that's a representation of him there in the painting. In those rooms, he saw figures dressed in black, which we call nuns, and also helpers that would come in. And they would open the windows in the morning, and they'd pull the kids out and take out the mattresses and throw them outside to get a bit of air in them. But there was no such thing as a tumble dryer or any such comforts, and the babies would sleep on top of them. None of them had nappies, and they were never toilet trained, so they were all bedwetters. Couldn't have been very pleasant, I'm sure. And of course, as Bernard says, these things called sculptures, this figure of a man with blood coming out of his head and his hands, to a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old. These guys were never taught how to say a prayer or a poem, despite the fact that they were in a religious institution. They were never taught anything. And he was fortunate enough that somebody actually decided to take him out when he was almost 4 years old. The text on these panels, that's a handwritten letter from his birth father, apologizing for being late making payments after they had taken the baby. There's another one over here from his birth mother, apologizing as well, her own handwriting. And we have all the original documentation on this. Again, apologizing for delays, documents from his baptism inside the actual institution. And again, probably more general documents, but all pertaining to the period on all panels around the object. It's a bit tight for space here, unfortunately. See two more there. We had the President of Ireland here on Thursday night for the opening, because he awarded Bernard recognition for services rendered to the Irish abroad, in this case England, and both Bernard and Liam Neeson at that time. So this is slightly different in the fact that it's both on the floor and on the walls. The rest of them are just on the walls. This one here is called Silent Cleric. And this one, which has already been sold, is called The Innocent. The teddy being a metaphor for bartering, if you like. So let's just pan around here. This is Litter Frack in Galway. Sort of speaks for itself. That is also being sold. And I just pan up here, and then I'll make another video on the remaining pieces through the alcove or in the final space. This one's called Nuns Digging. And one up next to it is called Nailing Up the Shame Box. The lady coming out here from the confessional has been defined as a sinner, probably telling the priest, might be a young man, about her boyfriend or whatever he unpacked from her experience, could even have a hard on listening to it, as sort of soft porn, perhaps, as we define it today. While outside we have this middle-aged lady and Morrison Ailing up the shame box, because it's a bit like what Paul Brady said in his song The Island. We've sung too much of that before. So a lot of people like this one, still available. This one is The Priest's Housekeeper, quite a large piece. I'll just pull back. These two pieces are of a larger scale. The priest with his concubine, his woman, and obviously worried that he'd be seen. Of course, the vow of celibacy is completely against anything natural. We're all sexual, and as I said to Michael D the other night, the Pope wouldn't be here if his mother hadn't had sex. So there's no justification to celibacy at all, other than the fact that it's a rule. Okay, I'm going to stop there because these get a bit long.